Thanks for watching. This clip was from our live show exclusively on odds.com. To watch the full video, hit the link below and get paid in full. We move on to Eagles Giants, and I was on Washington last week, but DJ showed me something in this last game. And when Bruce Arians took a shot at him after that Bucs game, just saying he was a young quarterback trying to do too much, I could just tell that he thought about it over and over and over again. And Arians helped him mature with that critical analysis. And I want to talk this game out badly because Eagles coming off a bye and coming off a real underwhelming performance. The Giants have looked good 2 weeks in a row. And I know they were up 20-3 and they let a bad offense back in the game. So it's not like I'm bullish right now over the Giants, but I certainly wanted to talk this game out. And at this point, the Giants are no longer at plus 3.5. Damn it. They've moved to 3. That's upsetting. It was all 3.5 when I was capping it today, and I probably, if I wanted, I probably should have pulled the trigger, but I didn't want to talk this game out. So let's talk it out right now. Eagles, Giants. This total opened up at 42. It's up to 44.5. Eagles 3-4-1, 1-2 on the road. Giants 2-7, 1-3 at home. Eagles come in off their bye week. We last saw them in that DiNucci 23-9 underwhelming victory against the Cowboys. It was their second straight victory. Carson Wentz looked terrible. 15-27, 123 yards, 2 TDs, 2 interceptions, 2 fumbles. And we just talked about how DJ thought all week about what Arians said and played clean football, which is what I expect Alex Smith to do for Washington, is play clean football. And I expect Carson Wentz to do that here. I expect him to play clean football and not – I mean, he's been trashed everywhere for the 2 interceptions and the 2 fumbles. Fulgham caught 6 passes for 78 yards, 1 TD. No other receiver caught over 16 yards. Boston Scott ran for a career-best 70 yards on 15 carries. Cornerback Darius Slay, ankle. Defensive tackle Malik Jackson, quad, left in the third quarter. They're both listed as questionable. Sumalo, their guard, was designated to return from injured reserve yesterday. He may be back in the lineup, and they need him. Offensive tackles Lane Johnson and Jack Driscoll remain questionable. Cornerback Cravon LeBlanc, sorry, always go French, and Craig James, questionable. Wide receiver Alshon Jeffrey and running back Miles Sanders all remain questionable. What are your expectations of the Eagles before we get into the Giants?
I mean, again, I've said it all year. It really depends on what Wentz shows up. We've seen Wentz play phenomenal, and then we've seen him play like absolute trash. So I just don't know which one shows up. He played terrible his last outing. He's had a bye week to think about it. I agree with you, Jimmy. I think he plays a little more conservative. He's going to be better at protecting the ball this week. But there's also a part of me that wonders if he's had too much time to think about that bad performance. And, he comes out and I don't think we're going to see MVP caliber Wentz this week. I really don't. I do agree with you in the sense that he will be more likely to protect the ball, but to me it feels like the Giants are at least getting it together on defense. There's still a ton of questions around Daniel Jones. Yes, you're right. He listened to what Bruce Arians said. He protected the ball better. He played better football. But to me, it's this Giants defense that's finally kind of getting an identity, and it's making this team competitive at least. Whereas, for years they've been trash. It's been 3 years in a row where they've just been in the absolute basement, doghouse, terrible. But those draft picks on the defense are starting to come together, and then there's a few bright spots here and there on offense. I'd really like to see them with Saquon now as opposed to Saquon at the start of the year when it was just 8 in the box, shut him down, and then he tears his ACL. But to me, the value here is the Giants with the points. There is, I think, zero value in betting Philly. So my lean is fairly heavy on the Giants.
So there's some idea that the public might be on the Eagles, but I don't see how that's going to happen. we've all watched the Giants play well against the Bucks, and maybe the 38-3 loss to the Saints took a little luster off of that. But we haven't seen the Eagles in 2 weeks, and last we saw them, they look bad. So I think the public will be on the Giants, and that's probably what's giving me pause. And clearly, that's what the public has done so far, is back the Giants, bringing this from 3.5 down to 3. I guess I'm going to hold off. This is the kind of situation that scares the shit out of me. Eagles coming off a bye. Eagles have looked bad. If I told you, Bebsy, that Lane Johnson is back and now Wentz gets to throw to Alshon Jeffrey and hand the ball off to Miles Sanders, do you still like the Giants at +3?
Yeah, I do. I like the way the Giants are progressing as a team. The Eagles seem to be up and down, whereas I do really think we're starting to see the Giants clawing themselves out of that cellar that they've been in for years. And again, it starts with their defense. Look, I love Philly's front seven. Not necessarily the front seven. I love their front four. I love that defensive line of Philly. And I know that's the problem. That's my biggest hang up. I would be taking the Giants right now if it weren't for Daniel Jones's propensity to fumble the ball when he's under pressure or throw the ball when he's under pressure. Look, this Philadelphia defensive line can generate a ton of pressure. Obviously, Sanders and Lane Johnson are huge for them, but Lane Johnson's been in and out and in and out. I believe even if he is playing, he's still playing hurt. And so a lot of it comes down to, really how Wentz handles it, how Wentz handles pressure. And, sometimes he's got great escapability and he looks fantastic, and sometimes he looks like absolute garbage. So there's my uncertainty with it on both sides of the ball. And yeah, again, the only reason I'm not on the Giants in this spot is because of Daniel Jones and not handling that defensive front of Philadelphia, which is super underrated just because of how bad the rest of the team has been.
Well, I'm going to wait. This was one of the spots that I wasn't going to wait on. But I'm going to wait. I'm going to get some more information, especially on the Eagles side of things. And so, interesting. I came into this show thinking that, why didn't I already get on the Giants? And Alvin Smith saying Philly spot. And all right, this is going to be a stay off. Very quickly, Bebsy, what do you think of this total here? I guess we shouldn't even really talk about it until we know if the playmakers are back. But my expectation, seeing this total open up at 42, move up to 44.5, is some sharp bettors knowing that the playmakers are going to be back for the Eagles and taking the over. What do you think, Bebsy? Sitting at 40.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me. Look, getting Jeffrey and Sanders back is huge. Really, those, especially Sanders, because he just opens up so much for them. He's a very talented running back, but he also helps them out big time in the passing game. So he opens up so much. And look, they haven't had much of Alshon Jeffrey at all this year, and he's not a top tier receiver, but he's an excellent receiver. So yeah, he opens things up as well. So I get it. I get why this is going up, and I get why the Sharps would be on that early.
And I didn't even break down the Giants. I just broke down the Eagles and then handed it over to Bebsy. But let's just quickly just finish off on the Giants here. Coming up 23-20 win on the road at Washington. Their defense forced 5 turnovers. And Daniel Jones completed the game without a turnover, and they win 23-20. One of the things, if I had known that Golden Tate would be benched for what he said to the cameras after that touchdown grab against the Buccaneers, I probably would have immediately hedged and taken the Giants. You know, Jimmy Stain already stated in the chat that these guys look like they like playing for Judge. And for whatever reason, there's times when I don't respect a move like that, but I like that. This is a team that's losing and losing and losing. And he's coming in saying, you're a team player or you're not on the field. And if I had known that the Giants were up 20-3 at the half, it was a real, look, my hands are start leaking. It was a real mistake after Judge made that decision for me not to immediately bet the Giants, at least first half. The Giants were without Devonta Freeman because of ankle injury, but that didn't stop them from running the ball. Gallman, 14 carries for 68 yards. Alfred Morris, 9 carries for 67 yards. Freeman remains questionable, as does tight end Keaton Smith, who's in concussion protocol. So this game's going to obviously take some more time here. And the fact that Wentz is being destroyed for his picks and his turnovers, I think he's going to play a straighter game. And I think that DJ's listening to the public, supporting how he played a clean game. So I know I just got destroyed on this bet this past weekend, but this feels like even if the game goes over, I think there's going to be punts. So we'll make some decisions here.
You gonna bet on the punts prop?
I just feel like they're both going to play clean.
Hey, did your punts prop hit, by the way? I forget.
Oh, God. Okay. All right. Let's just move on to the next game.